All right, half a day, everybody. Jason Salas on location. Who in the world could have a desk title as Chaos Coordinator and also a generously stocked desk of almond rokas? The one and only Landon Ayla with the National Weather Service. What's up, bro? Happy New Year,
Happy
man.
New Year. How are you?
All right, so we told everybody now about the what. That's what's going on with the weather. It is always your job, and you do a masterful job at it, telling us the how and the why. And of course, it is the new year and everything. So, what are you looking at, and what exactly is causing that?
Yeah, definitely. We're really seasonable conditions right now. What we've seen the last couple of days, actually the last couple of weeks, is drying out. And so you're looking at the satellite. This is the visible satellite showing just nothing but trade winds across the area. We've had this little patch of showers and clouds pass over the islands overnight. We're going to see some lingering light to moderate showers today. But these showers, unlike what we see in September, October, November, they're going to be moving right on by. Instead of dropping the heavy rainfall in a short burst, these are going to be coming through, just dropping like very little bit of rainfall. So we're not expecting a wetting rain, which is about 0.2 of an inch. And so the rainfall accumulations will be very little over the next week or so. This is going to be continuing the trend, just trade winds all the way out toward the dateline and beyond. The heaviest showers are well to our south across the FSM, well south of Pohnpei, Truk, and Yap states.
Which is interesting, if I may say so, because when we were around Christmas time, it was fairly wet, and your brother was telling us that you were off in Japan, skiing or, freezing.
Yes.
But then heading into, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, it was a little bit wet, but the wind was just more chilly. It was very, very breezy, and it had a little bit of a nippiness to it.
Yeah, and that's going to be the theme at least for another month and a half as we go through the midpoints of February. And so what we're looking at are these shearlines. This is what we see this time of the year. These are old decaying cold fronts that come out of China and Japan, and they drop down toward the tropical Pacific Ocean. They start losing their frontal characteristics of like the cold front with the cold air blasting behind it. It's more of a tropical modified environment behind it. So we have the strong gusty winds to the north and a little bit drier air. So once those boundaries drop over the islands, it does cool off a couple degrees, but those dew points drop and it feels much cooler outside, especially at night. And so that's going to be the relief we see.
And although it's not, in your wheelhouse per se, these cold winds are causing a lot of our friends and neighbors here to get either a second round of COVID, possibly even a third, knock on wood, or,
Yes.
just a seasonal flu.
Yeah, and definitely that's making its rounds across the island right now. So, of course, make sure you take care of your personal hygiene, especially in crowded areas and the workplace. But yeah, this is definitely seasonal for this time of the year. We're going to see drier conditions than what we've seen the last 3 dry seasons, because the last 3 years were plagued by La Nina, and that keeps our drier seasons wetter. But now we're in the El Nino dry season, and so we typically see a lot more tropical cyclone activity during the wet season. But then the following dry season with El Ninos tend to be a little bit drier. And so we are working with the U.S. Drought Monitor out of the States to monitor rainfall conditions across the region. And we are seeing severe drought across Ulithi and other islands of Yap State, also moderate drought across the Marshall Islands and areas of the FSM, and now abnormally dry. So we're going to probably see these conditions start emerging across Guam and the CNMI in the coming weeks.
So that means the grass is going to turn really, really brittle and really brown, and possibly even, as is accustomed for this time of year, we get those warnings about possible grass fires.
Correct, and so we are still abundantly moist out there, especially with that New Year's Eve deluge we had late that night. But things are drying out. We do have a moderate wildfire risk at this time, and that could become a high wildfire risk by the end of the week if we don't get significant rainfall. And that, again, is about 1/4 of an inch or so.
Right. Okay, so Landon, you're not only a teacher of science at your job here at the NWS, but you're also a student of history, all right? This we know. I remember we were talking almost a year ago today about how January was expected to be a ho-hum first month of the year in terms of rainfall, and then we set a new historical record last year. Is there any way that you can predict what this January is going to be like?
I don't think 2024 will be quite as wet as what 2023 was. That was a special year. And keep in mind, Typhoon Mawar, that was a direct hit in May, and that brought about 25 to 28 inches to much of Guam. So if we did not have Mawar, our rainfall totals would have still been above normal, but not quite to the degree that we were in 2023. This year, that El Nino dry season is going to keep things fairly dry, at least now through June.
All right,
See
well,
what happens.
We appreciate me letting you hang out in your office. And if you can just look at your screen for one moment, I'm going to make my retreat. I'll catch you later, man.